You're telling me some HOA president just broadcasted the coordinates of a federal drone docking station on Facebook Live? I stared at my secure comm screen, Agent Carter's face glaring back at me in stunned silence. Somewhere behind him, red emergency lights flashed across government server racks, and men in suits darted around like a mission had just gone critical. Sir, I said, swallowing hard. She claimed it was for neighborhood surveillance upgrades. That's how Linda from the HOA nearly sparked a national security crisis, all because she wanted a better view of people not picking up their dog's mess. 3 days earlier I was VYing a quiet, under-the-radar life in Pinewood Hills, a gated community obsessed with rules but lacking in common sense. I liked it that way. It was the perfect cover. No one suspects the guy who keeps his lawn neat, waves politely, and skips every barbecue. What they didn't know was that the bulky gray box on my roof wasn't for cable TV, it was the control hub for Drone Port Delta 7, one of 6 hidden aerial stations feeding real-time intel to Homeland Security. My job? Keep it running, keep it secret, and for the sake of classified ops, keep nosy neighbors away from my roof. Then came Linda. Recently re-elected as HOA president, she turned her 3rd term into a personal mission. Somewhere between outlawing wind chimes and enforcing uniform mailbox colors, she decided the neighborhood needed a 24/7 awareness system, by which she meant cameras everywhere. She'd already stuck them on streetlights, in trees, and even inside a birdhouse, don't ask. So when I got home one day and spotted a blinking red light on my chimney, I knew something had gone horribly wrong. I wasn't supposed to freak out, protocol said. Assess the breach, disable foreign devices, report up the chain if exposure can't be contained. But when I climbed up and saw she'd slapped a Wi-Fi Nest cam right over the concealed hatch to Delta 7's thermal controls, panic shoved protocol aside. She duct-taped it on crooked, no less. I ripped it off, flipped it over, and my stomach sang the green light meant it was streaming. I raced downstairs, fired up my secure laptop, and traced the signal. Sure enough, it was live on a public group, HOA Safety Watch, with 12 viewers. One had commented, "Whoa, what's that shiny thing by the vent? Looks like a rocket launcher." By the time I pinged command, it was too late. Headquarters knew. Agent Carter's face appeared on my screen like a grim specter, and with one glance at the feed, he exhaled like his head might explode. Linda had turned a top-secret government asset into her latest HOA project. Don't get me wrong, Linda wasn't malicious, just insufferably sure of herself in all the wrong ways. She wasn't the type to heed warnings, she issued them. She wore bucket hats unironically and handed out fines for trash cans an inch out of line. The idea that she'd stumbled into something way over her head didn't register. She was too busy drafting her next HOA bulletin about VY deterrent strategies. The next day I tried to stay calm. "Hey, Linda," I said, nodding toward the sky, "I noticed a camera on my roof yesterday." "Oh, that's part of our neighborhood safe cam initiative," she chirped, as if announcing a bake sale. "We've picked prime spots for full coverage, and yours has the best VYEW of the back alley." I fought to keep my cool. "Linda, you can't just put stuff on people's roofs without permission. It's in the bylaws," she shot back, smug as ever, clearly unaware of federal airspace laws. Section 12C, the HOA can install security measures for the community's benefit. But federal regulations, I started. She waved me off. "My brother's in the Navy. It's fine." That night, I barely slept. I filed reports, flagged her footage for removal, which would take 72 hours, and prayed no one had saved the drone hatch clip. Maybe it was blurry. Maybe no one noticed. Maybe Linda would drop it and start policing mailbox flags instead. Nope. The next morning she doubled down. Her latest email crowed, due to overwhelming support, will expand cameras to more rooftops by week's end. Resistance is non-compliance. Suddenly, my quiet suburb felt like a spy novel pinned by a soccer mom. Things snowballed fast. The feds sent a cleanup crew. One guy posed as an exterminator, spraying for ants while planting RF blockers on my roof. Agent Carter called again, less composed this time. "If this Linda woman doesn't back off, we'll have to move the station." "You can't," I said. "It's tied into the underground grid. Relocating takes months and risks exposing the whole Western network." "Then stop her," he snapped, "or we will." Meanwhile, Linda patrolled with binoculars and a clipboard, claiming a surge in odd roof activity tie. She started quizzing me about my job. I said I worked remote IT. She nodded knowingly and muttered, "That explains all those FedEx deliveries." It was only a matter of time before she climbed up again. I added fake vent covers and reflective stickers to throw off her camera focus, even rigged a decoy air quality sensor on a PVC pipe. But Linda wasn't fazed. She smelled a mystery in her next HOA project. Then she crossed the line. She posted a screenshot from her chimney cam captioned, "What is this? We deserve answers. The community truth." It clearly showed Delta 7's control panel. She'd emailed the GPS coordinates to 47 people and tagged her senator. Sirens blared in my earpiece as Agent Carter's voice cut through, flat and furious. "Gear up. We're sending a legal team and maybe air support. If she touches that hatch again, she won't need an HOA title, she'll need a lawyer." Linda called an emergency HOA meeting that Thursday, which already felt like a battle cry. Most board members shuffled in, half awake, clutching coffee, baffled by emails screaming urgent, security threat, and is Mark running a secret heliport? I sat in the back, hoodie up, sunglasses on, praying no one said, "Drone allowed." Linda took the podium, pointer in hand, clicking through a PowerPoint titled Eyes Above, Safety or Conspiracy. Slide 2 featured a blurry zoom of my roof, red circles and arrows on random pipes. "This," she declared, like a detective unveiling a breakthrough, "is what's lurking over us, and no one knows what it is, not even the FAA." I called. I nearly choked. She'd call the FAA? That was new and reckless. "I believe," she pressed on, "we're facing an unauthorized surveillance hub, maybe corporate, maybe foreign." She paused for gasps that never came, but her confidence turned a few heads my way. "I've taken steps to protect us," she added. Those steps? Launching the Liberty Guard crew, a posse of retirees and overzealous accountants now roaming with clipboards, flashlights, and binoculars, tasked with logging suspicious roof noises. Things escalated the next afternoon when Linda tried my roof again, this time with her nephew, a 20-year-old in sandals wielding a selfie stick, calling himself a truth influencer. As they climbed my trellis, a drone returned from patrol. Spotting movement near its landing zone, it triggered its deterrence mode, dropped low, blared a shrill tone, and buzzed Linda's shoulder, nearly knocking her clipboard loose. She shrieked, her nephew dropped his phone and fell into my shrubs, and the drone hovered, scanned, then darted off. Linda stumbled down, pointed a trembling finger at me and yelled, "You sent that thing after me." I didn't get a word in before she was on the phone with the cops, the HOA, and a local news tip line she'd been feeding for days. The headline hit that night: "Local woman nearly attacked by mystery aircraft says she's doing what the government won't." By morning, my email flashed a red alert: "High priority public exposure risk elevated." Agent Carter's encrypted note read, "This is spiraling." He didn't need to tell me. Half the neighborhood thought I was a spy, the other half figured I was a tech nerd with military gadgets. Teens tried sneaking onto my roof for TikTok clout. I installed noise emitters to scare them off. Linda, emboldened, went full espionage mode. Night patrols, laminated maps noting, humming at 2 a.m., mirrored shades indoors, and a new title: Linda, Community Defense Chief. She was closer to federal custody than she knew. Agent Carter warned that Delta 7's exposure had pinged the Pentagon. Relocation was back on the table unless I contained her. I tried reasoning. "Linda, the stuff on my roof is sensitive, legal, and part of a confidential research gig." She stared, then grinned like she'd cracked a code. "So you admit it?" "Admit what?" "Confidential. That's what people say when they're hiding the truth." "That's what it means." "Exactly." My eye twitched. A week later, a court summons arrived. Linda sued me for emotional distress from unauthorized drone aggression, claiming the buzzing ruined her yoga and the trellis incident traumatized her nephew. The hearing was set before a community judge fond of quoting law order over tea. He read her complaint, blinked thrice, then stepped out to check federal law. The case stalled indefinitely. But the real twist came when Linda hired a private eye. He rolled up in a tan sedan with a DSLR, posing as a home appraiser. Delta 7 clocked him in 6 seconds. I strolled over with coffee. "Who are you?" He laughed. "Ex-CIA. I know what's on your roof. Took this gig to see how bad she'd crash." He tipped off the feds that night Linda had disrupted a protected surveillance path. Agent Carter texted, "We're building a legal wall. Her HOA days are numbered." Still, Linda persisted. Her newsletter urged vigilance against threats posing as neighbors, featuring a blurry photo of me at the store and a call to check my trash for foreign labels. I stared at it, realizing something wild. Linda genuinely thought she was a patriot. She didn't know I'd spent weeks shielding her from an unmarked van until she climbed my roof again. Next time it wouldn't be a drone buzzing her. It'd be someone with handcuffs. It started with a flamingo, a tacky pink lawn one, dead serious in Linda's yard, with a cheap GoPro strapped to its neck, aimed at my roof. I spotted it taking out the trash and froze. It sat right under Delta 7's flight path. That afternoon, a drone launched for a routine sweep. Its downdraft toppled the flamingo, sucked it into the intake, and made a noise like a lawnmower eating a toy. The drone veered, smoked, and crash-landed near Linda's car. Neighbors ran out, phones up. Linda, in her HOA vest, charged over yelling, "You're flying war machines in a suburb." I grabbed the drone and walked inside as she trailed me, ranting about FAA rules. Agent Carter called. She's weaponized lawn decor. She also filed an FAA complaint for a no-fly zone over Pinewood, he said. And a podcaster wants you for an expose. I groaned. Linda had turned my house into her Roswell, casting herself as a fearless truth seeker. She posted, "Not saying aliens, but not saying aliens, the Skywatch." The feds countered with a vague press release about telecom testing. I was told to play along, but Linda didn't bite. She handed out copies marked lies in red. Then a DoD lawyer showed up at her door, calmly listing 4 federal violations. She argued her Navy brother and HOA rights. He handed her a thick envelope and said she was under review. IEW. A sane person might have stopped. Not Linda. 2 days later, she sued me again, alleging military-grade trespass for profit, with flamingo wreckage pics and a tweet calling me SUS. The judge scheduled a hearing, likely out of curiosity. 2 Homeland guys and a Delta 7 contractor rep sat silently as Linda's slideshow, "The Sky's Not Safe," played with sound effects. She called me a suburban operative. The judge, stifling a laugh, asked for proof. Not yet, but he's hiding something. Case dismissed. The contractor rep later told me, "She's relentless and just gave us cause to reinforce." Next day, unmarked vans installed high-tech panels on my roof. Linda's blog Suburban Skies crashed from traffic, then added a donate button and a Snowden comparison. The HOA split, some quit, others moved to curb her power. She called them sellouts. It wasn't about my roof anymore, it was her crusade. After the hearing, Linda vanished for 2 days. Drones flew unbothered. I dared to hope she'd quit. Then a dented telecom van parked across the street. A shady guy in sunglasses eyed my roof, bolted when a drone hovered over him. Linda had hired him. That night, Delta 7 flagged RF pings from her house, her own spy setup. Agent Carter said, "She's cracking the system. We're locking it down." Next morning, a precise 40-minute blackout hit. Feds swept the block, yanked a repeater from Linda's attic, and cloaked my airspace with fake bird footage. Her Wi-Fi tanked, her phone glitched near my house. She posted a warped drone clip, screaming "cover up," but got laughed off next door, plus a cease and desist from Council Reeve. Undeterred, Linda upped her game: GoPro hat, legal notes, clipboard, and a Freedom barbecue with a corkboard of my trash pics. 6 attended, 4 bailed. She tried the HOA clubhouse roof, tripped an alarm, and got escorted off by landscapers. Agent Carter texted, "She's unraveling. Watch her." One night, she crept into my yard, flashlight in teeth, wires, and a scanner in hand, aiming for my shed. Floodlights blazed, 4 drones locked on, booming, "Step away. Restricted sight." She shrieked, dropped everything, tripped into my roses. I stepped out, recording. "You can't blind people," she yelled. "You can't break in," I shot back. "This is a setup. You keep hitting classified zones." Fear flickered in her eyes, real fear. Feds arrived, handed her a sealed envelope, and left. Agent Carter called, "She's flagged. One more move, we detain. Will you? One last chance. She'll burn out." I wasn't conviewing said. Linda craved control and she'd try again. After days of quiet, I fortified everything: biometric locks, decoy hatches. Then at dusk a hum rose. Lights, flashlights, phones, flood lamps aimed at my house. Linda, in a tactical vest labeled "Neighborhood Oversight," led her last followers. "Megaphone up," she bellowed, "we demand this aerial threat be dismantled." Drones cloaked signals. I texted Carter, "She's at it." "Don't move," he replied. She charged with a ladder, climbed my roof, and stood triumphant. "I claim this for inspection." She stepped on the hatch. Towers rose, sirens wailed, 4 drones boxed her in. Trespassing. Stand down. I'm a citizen, she cried. They tightened. She hit the decoy hatch. Purple dye exploded, coating her. She slipped, got foamed, and flailed as feds swarmed. They took her down into an SUV. Gone. The aftermath? Delta 7 was declared federal turf. Linda banned from HOA roles nationwide. The board replaced her with a cookie-baking peacemaker. I got immunity, my house untouchable. A VY Rao VYD Linda versus. Drones showed her purple meltdown. Millions laughed. She's 3 states away now in an HOA that bans flamingos in purple. I sip tea on my porch, drones humming softly. Peace at last.